so I was dealing with a young lady, and you know, she was great, and she was coming to town, flying to town, and she's like, got these things going on. She was like, hey, you know, I need to be out there for a week. And I'm like, man, a week is a long time. That's what I was thinking, but I agreed to it. She came out for a week. The first 2 days, the first day was great. Second day was great. Third day was pretty good. By the fourth day,
he was knocking it down.
I mean, that's all. That's all we was doing is cooking, smashing, eating. It's great.
Yep.
The fourth day though was like she even started to look different. Ooh. Like everything just started changing in my mind to where I'm like, man, I can't believe I agreed to this, because it wasn't the physical aspect of it. It was like she was just in my mind. Like it was like I was fatigued because, you know, checking on her, making sure she was straight. You know what I mean? Coming home knowing that even though I had all this going on, I had to give her this level of attention that she needed. Understanding that it was things that if I missed the workout in the morning, if I missed doing something, I couldn't just do it. Right. At night, you know, right. Thinking about I wanted to call Tyshawn at midnight to talk to him about a new idea I came up with, but I'm like, I can't go and sneak out and make a call to Tyshawn right now. It's midnight. So all of these things
was Jake
going
from State Farm?
Right. So mentally, I was so fatigued. And then I just started to, she ended up leaving or whatever, but I started to think that next week, just think like, man, can I really live with somebody? Can I, do I really have the mental capacity and fortitude to have somebody be occupying my mind like that? So my question for you guys is, if I do want to date serious, but of course I don't want to just start living with these random people.
Yeah, you should.
Right.
I would advise against it.
How do I develop the mental capacity to continuously care for somebody and prioritize somebody when I really just kind of want to do what I want to do?
Yo, true story. When I had I'm gonna spin a block, but
we're gonna let you cook.
Yeah. I got married.
Let him cook.
We need that one too.
Yeah. Got married and had my first son. And it was cool. Me and my wife, we used to stay up. We would watch 24 when 24 was on. We would stay up for 24 hours watching 24. Like, it was that type of vibes, right? It was all fun. It was cool. Had my son, and it was like a disruption. Like, dang, man, I gotta wake up, feed him. But then that kind of died down, and it was like, all right, I don't have to do all these particular things. Then he got to school age, and it was like, hey, we gotta get up and take him to school. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember waking up early like this when he was a baby. So it's like, all right, cool. I'll get up early and take him to school. Day 3, day 4, day 5. I'm like, wait a minute. I started adding it up. I said, oh, I got to do this for the rest of his life. And I was like, oh, I have to wake up early for the rest of his young life. This becomes my new normal. And I think that's counting the cost of any relationship is, are you prepared for a new normal, right? Is it worth it? And I think you have to count that cost. So when you're thinking about being in a relationship with somebody, you got to realize like, oh, there's a cost to this. Like, there's benefits, but there's a cost as well. You know what I mean? And am I willing to sacrifice in order to get the benefit? It's kind of like going to the gym. Like, you're gonna have to get up, you're gonna have to work out for X amount of hours. You gotta put in this work if you want the benefit of the health that you're gonna get.
That's right.
And so same situation is like in a relationship, you gotta count the costs. Like, do I want the benefits of having somebody consistent in my life, shared income, potentially somebody who, is not my mama when I go to the doctor and say, who can I put on this list that can take care of me? Somebody who can feed me chicken noodle soup when I'm sick at home in the bed. All these lists of things going on and on, but they all come with a cost. And I think we all got to ask ourselves, like, is that a cost I'm willing to pay? I'm not one of those type of people that's like, you must get married, you must be in a relationship. You could be single your whole life. It's great.
For sure, absolutely.
But if you want to be in a committed, monogamous relationship, there's a cost to get them benefits. So.
Tim, cook. Go ahead, you cook.
Well, I want to say two things based on the scenario you presented. Number one, the first thing I'll say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, for you to feel like that about her after the end of that 7 days,
Most people have no idea how to plan a date that builds connection. With 100 engaging dating cards, skip the small talk and get straight to the real conversation. Let's take the dating game to the next level. Click the link in the description and use discount code CLIPS for 10% off.
she definitely wasn't the one.
Facts.
Okay. The other thing I'll say is I don't believe she would have been in your head like that if you wouldn't have been in her body like that.
Yikes.
Damn.
Because when two bodies come together, that's not the only thing that fuses. So you said everything was good day 1, day 2, day 3, but day 4, after this, she's in your head in a way that she wasn't prior to you giving her your body. And so I'm telling you, God made sex. So as much as society has perverted it and tried to sensationalize it, I know the creator of sex. He made it bomb. He made it beautiful. He made it to be shared between a man and a woman exclusively for the rest of their lives. When you do it outside of that covenant, it still feels good, but the result is not good. Because of the impact it has on your body, it has on your soul, it has on your mind, it has on your spirit. That girl's in you forever.
Pause.
Forever.
It's crazy.
Now, with time, she'll be distant. It'll be a distant memory. It won't be as strong as you felt it when y'all was together.
Right.
But she's in your body forever.
Yeah, I remember when I had my spiritual transition, it was hard for me to stop, sleeping around. And I'll never forget the example that this pastor said to me. He said, your body's a temple. And I was like, I don't understand what the heck your body's a temple. I don't know what you're talking about. Is it a mosque? You know what I'm saying? But when with further breakdown, it was like, he was like, in the ancient days, the temple of God was restricted for the priest. Anybody else who went in that temple would die because they're not allowed to be in there.
That's correct.
And so the only person who had permission to enter that temple was the priest. And so the temple was created specifically for the priest of God to enter and to go in and out. And so he was like, man, these young ladies' bodies are a temple and you're not the priest of that temple. You don't belong in there. Yeah. And I was like, sheesh. It's like, it's disrespectful to God that you are not the priest, but you keep going inside these temples.
That's a fire analogy.
And I was like, all right. And so it did something to me to make me think of it like, oh, this is not just physical intercourse. It's something spiritual happening here that I can't see or understand. And there's implications to it that I'm not grasping. And so, there's consequences for it. I faced some consequences for going to some of them temples.
Absolutely.
You know
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Thank God for penicillin.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm just saying.
It get real on Harley this shit.